after a good 5 years of use, the throttle cable has broken on our Ariens lawn tractor. So today we got to fix that. Let me show you how. Before we get started, let's just take a quick look at the tools we're going to need today. We need a 1/2 inch socket, 8mm socket, and a 1/4 inch socket, as well as a T25 Torx bit, along with your appropriate drivers. That's really all we need today. Pretty simple. The first thing we're going to want to do is remove the steering wheel. This simply pops off, this cap, and then we just have our bolt right here, and this will loosen the steering wheel, and we can remove it. It should just pull right out here, and this comes off as well. Next, we need to remove the steering wheel column. That just pulls off like that, and we can move on to the Torx bits. There's 2 here, 1 here, and then 2 on the other side. I'm using a drill for this, but you can certainly just use your socket driver. Next, we need to open the hood, so to speak, and disconnect our throttle cable. Next, we're going to mark and remove our throttle cable. This is our throttle cable right here, and I'm going to place a mark on it right where it meets the hole down here. That way I can go back and measure it when I put the new one back in. That way I know where to seat it according to where the holder is. So now we're going to get our 8mm socket, reverse this out. All just come out just like that. Now these have a little hook on them, so what you're going to do is kind of pull this forward towards you, and it just pops out. You see this little L bend here? That is basically what you have to get loose. Now that we've got the throttle cable off, we can remove the throttle itself. So what we're going to do is pull off, and we're going to kind of split this section right here, and it will just pull up for you. And we'll take a look under here. I'll get the best angle that I can, but you can see these 2 bolts right here, 1 and 2, these hold the throttle to this case right here. So get your 1/4 inch socket, simply remove these. Now that we know where our bolts are, let's go ahead and remove them. There's 2. Now that we've taken the bolts out, we can remove the throttle. Doesn't look like it's going to come out of here, but it will. Trust me, just kind of spin it. And from the bottom, just pull it down. Just pull the throttle cable through. And there you have it. When you go and search for this part, you're going to have to buy the entire thing. I did not want to do that, as these are all good parts except for this little wire right here, and I hate to kind of scrap this just because of a very small failure. So your first instinct might be to go source some similar gauge wire and just, cut it to length and then create those Z-bends and just replace it. You'll be all set. Well, that's kind of what I thought too. Here's what happened. Now you can find a similar gauge wire anywhere, really. This was probably $2 at Walmart. Now this is the same gauge, but there's one major difference here. This is very malleable, very bendy, very easy to manipulate. And what ends up happening is any Z-bend you make, when you actually pull on it with the throttle, it's going to do this, and it'll just bend right back. I tried it twice, could never get it to work, and as a result, it's just not an option to use this stuff. And at the end of the day, it's just easier to replace this whole thing. Trust me, I hate doing that because this is perfectly fine other than this wire right here, but it was just too big of a problem to find any throttle cable wire that was strong enough, like this, for example. This actually came out of the throttle, and you can see I can bend this, and it always wants to go back. That makes a huge difference when you're doing a lot of pulling forces on it with this cable. This stuff right here, look at that. I mean, it fits wherever you put it. This right here, it does not do that. And I could not find any of this stuff anywhere. I checked all the big box stores, even some motorcycle shops, and couldn't find any of it there. So trust me, I did my homework on this, and you're welcome to do yours as well. But at the end of the day, buying this is just what ended up being the easiest and, quite frankly, the only option. All right, so we've got our old wire here, and remember we marked it, and we're going to measure that, and we got about, well, 1 3/4 inches to the Z-bend here. So we're going to transfer that onto our new cable here and reinstall it. Okay, let's reinstall our new throttle. What we're going to do is we're going to come at it from the side and just kind of feed it up just how we took it out. So just slide it up in the slot, just like that, and orients this way. We're going to take our throttle cable, and there's a little channel right here that you need to put the throttle cable through. So what we're going to do is feed it through there. I'm going to pull it down. And then we got it coming out the bottom, and now we can bolt our throttle back onto this case. If you're having trouble setting your linkage correctly, here's a quick tip. Engage your throttle all the way forward into the choke position. Now that we've got the throttle into the choke position, we're going to look here and see that our linkage has fully opened the throttle and actually placed it in the choke position. So we can see our coil right here. This is where it needs to set. As you can tell, my marks earlier do not correspond with this new cable, which could be the case for you as well. So I'm just going to do a little quick demonstration here of what this looks like. So we've got full choke right here. Now when I move the throttle back, you can see it's pushing it forward, and that's all the way low speed. Now when I pull the throttle to full speed and then engage the choke, that's where we need to be. So this linkage right here needs to be set at this position. To save yourself a few headaches, thread this screw in first. This is very loose, so you can always kind of fit it on after the screw has been threaded in. Let me show you what I mean. See, that's just like that, and that can be spun. So just thread your screw in first, then place your cable down, then start tightening. Okay, we're almost set. Just need to tighten this, and we'll be all good. Let's give it a test. This is all the way on turtle. Now we're speeding it up. That's right before choke. That's choke. We got it. All right, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully it saved you some time. If this video helped you, please help me hit like and subscribe. You know the drill. Appreciate it. Have a great day.